Let's look at a tool which is available to us in Haskell, known as type synonyms. A synonym of a word is another word which has the same meaning, and a type synonym is just like that. It is another name for a type. We've actually already seen a type synonym before. This is how the string type is declared. We use the type keyword, then the name we would like to give the type synonym, and then there is an equal sign and the type we would like the synonym to refer to. Don't misunderstand the type keyword here. We are not creating a new type. All we are doing is creating a new type synonym. We can read the declaration as we are creating a type synonym called string, which is a synonym for a list of char. We can refer to the synonym or the original type in a type signature. For example, in these two code blocks, we are referring to the original type of list of char here and the synonym here. And since they both mean the same thing, the values are constructed in exactly the same way too. Now let's look at how we could possibly use type signatures to represent a date more clearly. Remember, we saw earlier how we could use a triplet of ints to represent the parts of a date, but we said that the type signature does not really tell us enough about which parameter is supposed to be the day, month, or year. So we can create type synonyms, like so, for the day, month, and year, and then use them directly in our type signature. Since each type is actually just an int, nothing changes under the hood, and you can create values just like you would for an int. You could even take this further and declare a type synonym using other type synonyms, like here. Here we are creating a type synonym for a 3-tuple called date, where the first element is of type day, the second is of type month, and the third is of type year. But remember, each of these are just synonyms themselves, so it is really just a wrapper over a 3-tuple of ints. The good thing here is that the signature becomes clearer. We can see immediately that we want the value to be a date. This is much better than having raw ints because it conveys the message to the reader of what the type actually means. Type synonyms can be useful if they improve readability, but since they are actually only wrappers over the underlying type, they do not necessarily mean an increase in type safety. Take for example this date. Since each type is actually only an int, it is perfectly valid for a user to construct an instance of a date like this. But we all know it doesn't actually make sense. The second field is supposed to be the month, but we know there is no 31st month. The situation of putting in an incorrect date like this is perfectly possible in international teams, which have different ways in which they represent the date. A better way of having a date would be to create our own custom type, which validates the input so only correct dates can be created. Type synonyms can sometimes be useful, and it is important to be aware of them. But to avoid the problems we have discussed, we usually prefer to create our own custom types which restrict values to only be valid ones. This video is a clip from a longer video for beginners starting with Haskell. Check that out if you would like to see all of the content. Also check out the entire Introduction to Functional Programming with Haskell course on the Learn channel. See you next time.